Well, welcome back to stevemills.com.au. Our next guest is a young lady that waltzed in and did some work experience for us at 6PR, and she told me at the time, I just want to have a look at it because very shortly I'll be going to Hollywood. And I went, oh yeah, as you do. As a 15-year-old she was then, now she's 16. Since then she's been to Hollywood, she's come back, she's nearly landed big roles in movies, she's had quite a bit of experience. Her story is quite an amazing one. She could be the next Nicole Kidman, and her name is Marriott. Good morning.
Morning.
Tell us a bit about how you convinced your mum to say, let's follow the dream and go to Hollywood at the age of 16.
Okay, so it kind of became evident that I needed to leave Perth when everyone was kind of saying, you need to go to Sydney, you need to go to Melbourne, if that's where you're going to be taken seriously as an actor, that's where you need to go. So we thought, if we're going to leave family and friends and pack up and go to Sydney, let's see what LA is all about. We went there, I had 3 talent agents who were interested in signing me on the spot, and Mum said, okay, we'll look into a visa, O1 visa, which is an extraordinary talent visa for entertainment industry, and I applied for that, and she said, if that comes through, we'll go back to LA. And it came through on April Fool's Day, 2011.
Now, you had some minor roles which have been successful, but recently you went for a major movie part. You sat down at a table with some pretty big names. Tell everyone who you're actually dealing with that day.
Okay, so I was dealing with Jennifer Aniston, Will Poulter, Jason Sudeikis, Nick Offerman, just these huge, huge people, and executives at Newland Cinema, the director of Rawson Thurber, just huge people, the movers and shakers in Hollywood, and it was incredible.
So you got the opportunity to do what they call a table read. For those that aren't familiar with the movie industry, if I want to get into a movie, what's the steps involved in trying to land a key role?
You have your first audition, which is when you go into the room, you do your stuff, and if they like you, they'll call you back. I actually received a call back to directors, so I had the opportunity to meet Rawson Thurber. I was then notified of a second callback, which was to a mix and match session where they bring in an actor. Will Poulter was actually called in. So they called Will Poulter and they said, what's the chemistry like? That's what they kind of look for and how we get along. So we had that. That night I was actually notified that I was invited to the table read, which is where everyone sits around the table, full cast, and everyone else involved in the project, executive producers at Newline Cinema, all the writers, casting, everyone who's involved, and the script is read and you have to act it through, and it's great fun.
And then you get to mix with people that the majority of us can only dream of a meeting and sitting at a table and actually acting. That didn't come through, you didn't get the role, but you got your name out there and you met a lot of influential people, and you're going back to Hollywood. That's a big part. Mum must really have a lot of faith in you, as a lot of people have.
She does. I mean, this kind of cemented, where the Millers table read kind of cemented being director's first choice, that I had to go back. We had to go back to LA, no matter what. Because when you get that far, there's no doubt that you have to go back and try again and pursue and keep persisting.
You hear people that are a little bit older than you trying their luck in a place like Hollywood. Are there many people your age that, like 16-year-olds hunting for roles, that have made the trip from all around the world?
There are a lot of people from all around the world who go to Hollywood because it's it's the entertainment capital of the world. So you have people from everywhere. It's quite incredible. And being from Australia, I think, and going to Hollywood, it kind of, if you're willing to make that trip, then you're going to take everything seriously. You're not going to mess around. And I feel almost as though, being able to make that jump and that leap and that sacrifice on my mum's behalf and my behalf, it's, that that's what you want to do and you're determined.
So how do you actually break in? I mean, you go over there and you obviously throw yourself in front of as many people as you can to be noticed. Others are doing that as well. Is there any advice you have for budding stars that may be thinking of doing the same journey?
Get your name out there.
How do you do that?
Casting director workshops are a really great way. They hold them at places all around Los Angeles, everywhere. There's so many acting places that you can go to, so you can get your name out there.
So is there anything you wouldn't do? Like, for example, if they threw you a commercial for television, which is advertising cereal. Would you do that just to get your face out there?
Of course, yes, definitely.
It's a huge market. It's really hard for us that live in Perth to get a head around how big a place like LA is and the whole of America. Was that hard from a little girl that left Perth, WA, to go into such a big fishbowl?
Kind of. I mean, it's exactly like Perth, like weather-wise, and, it's just bigger, of course. Everything's bigger, there's more of everything, there's more opportunities. So it was incredible to realize that you could have 2-3 auditions a day. It was unbelievable, and like having a schedule that you honestly couldn't predict. It's always fun.
Now, let's say we project yourself in a few years' time. I mean, I'm a believer. I just know that you're driven and you believe in yourself, which is really important, I reckon, no matter what career you're going to have. Let's say that I'm a movie producer and you're a star now, and I come to you and say, make a movie with me. Who would you want cast beside you? Who would you love to act with?
Morgan Freeman.
Why? Well, that's a name. Why?
No, Morgan Freeman is incredible. He's unbelievable. Honestly, he's just so real and so versatile in everything he does that I would love to learn from that and work with him. And
you got anyone a bit younger?
Dakota Fanning, because she's really great. For a younger actress, she's incredible. She's very, very good.
And what have you learnt so far? How old are you now?
16.
It's incredible. Some people wouldn't have achieved what you've achieved thus far just to get to the same table as someone like Jennifer Aniston, but that's just the beginning for you. What are the goals from this point onwards?
My goal is to land a lead role in a big budget feature film or television series. So that's really what I'm aiming at right now.
So when that happens, will you remember the people of Perth or just forget about us?
Of course I'll remember the people of Perth, as long as they remember me.
What about people like Nicole Kidman that have set the scene before you? Does she provide a bit of an inspiration?
Definitely. I think, the Aussie market is huge. There's so many Australians making it in Hollywood, and the Americans don't even sometimes realize. They're like, oh, Kate Blanchett. And they're like, wait, she's American. I'm like, no, she's Australian. They just kind of like to claim ours as theirs. But it's great, it kind of almost provides like a leeway, and America's kind of looking at Australian actors more seriously now, I think.
What about your study? I mean, you're still young. Do you have to continue with that?
Yes, I'm schooling online through distance education. I will graduate November this year through WACE. Sat my CHESPE, which is the California High School Proficiency Examination, and passed that. So I don't have to school in LA.
So what about the kids your age over there? Are they similar to what they are here?
Definitely. I'm friends with a lot of 14, 15-year-olds, and they're very similar to here. Most of the kids over in LA are homeschooled, which is to provide the flexibility for acting. But yeah, they're pretty much the same. They go out, they have fun, they act and enjoy it.
So you've had one bite at it. You're going back again. How long are you going to be there for? How long do you give yourself until you say, well, it's just too hard, or that just doesn't enter into your thinking?
That doesn't enter into my thinking at all. I mean, giving up is not an option. So I'm going to keep going until I reach my goal.
And I'm sure you will. And it will be good to know you when that happens. And don't forget to come back and have another interview at stevemills.com.au when you've won an Oscar.
Thank you.
Chanel, good to catch up with you. It's nice to see you back in Perth. We wish you all the very best. And I, for one, and a lot of people that know you, really believe in you. And well done for following the dream. If nothing else, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Thank you. I agree.
Chanel Marriott here on stevemills.com.au. Don't forget you can follow us on Twitter, Steve Mills PR, or like us on Facebook.